Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be interesting because I don't usually review TV shows, but I wanted to review it anyways because I've been watching it since it came out. So here it is. It's a review for American Crime Story Impeachment. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically about the Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton affair that happened in the 90s. So I've always been like interested in that thing because it's real, it happened in history and everybody knows about it, about the dress and everything. But I only was aware of like the affair and that's it, like it was just like like the affair, like I didn't know like the ins and outs of it. I didn't really know what happened between them other than that, and that he lied on oath, and that's it. So when they announced that it was going to be made, I was like very excited because I was like, cool, this is like a story in history that I wanted to know. I watched Scandal, so I like knew like that kind of the thing with the president. I know it's not like on the same level, but it's kind of the same, same premise. When they started announcing the cast, I was like, oh my god, this is a really good cast. I honestly forgot that Clive Owen was cast as Bill Clinton. Like I just wasn't aware of his casting. But when Beanie Fieldstein was cast as Monica Lewinsky, I was like, dude, that's so awesome, because I saw her in Booksmart. I thought she was really good. I loved her in Lady Bird, and so it was just like, I was like, yes, like I'm watching this. Like I was 100, like I was gonna watch it, but then when she was cast, I was like 100% committed. Like I was like, yes, like this is it. This is exactly like what I needed to like push me further into watching it. And so, I saw I saw like set photos, which was like last year or early this year. I don't remember, but I don't know when they filmed. But anyways, like I just saw that, and so I was like, oh, like that's really cool, and I was so excited. And then it finally came out in September, and so I watched it. And I'm gonna be honest, I was very shocked that it wasn't just about Monica Lewinsky. Like I wasn't aware that there was other women. I had no idea about that. So I thought that was insane to me, that I was like, oh my god, like the whole Paula Jones case, I had no idea who she was. And then like the other people that were like saying or coming out and saying all these things, like I was like, this man, what was wrong with him, So I was like very shocked, like learning, because I thought going in, I thought it was just going to be about Monica Lewinsky and what she went through, but it was about like everybody else and everybody who was like affected or like was part of it. Like like watching too, like I didn't know who like Linda Tripp was, and so I was very angry at her, but I didn't know who she was. And the first episode is like done really well in the way that it's like you want to feel bad for her. Like, because when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is just like a sad lady. Like, why are we watching her? Like, I felt for her. But then, when she started to like become friends with Monica, and then finding out that Monica was like doing it with the president, that's when it like gets worse. But like it's kind of funny how like the show made it so that you feel for Linda Tripp, and then you're like, wait, she's actually like a terrible person, like, because I didn't know who she was. So I was like learning about every single character like in these stories. Like there are like characters that like obviously, like I didn't know who Ken Starr was, but Brett Kavanaugh was in it, and Coulter was in it. So it's like there's like all these like not star people, but like these people that have been like trying to like diminish the Democratic Party, I guess you could say, since the beginning. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was like really well in that way, because I had no idea, no clue. And I did feel like at times the show was kind of, not that it was like specifically pointing out one side, because it was showing both sides of the story, but I felt like it was heavily targeted towards like anti-Bill Clinton, which isn't terrible. That's not bad. I mean, but you don't do that to women, So I was like, whatever about that. But I mean, it was interesting because so many people were like against like the Clintons in general. I don't want this video to be like pro or against anything. Like I'm just saying like these are my thoughts like going into it, and I'm not taking a side or another side, But I just thought it was so interesting thing that like so many people were like against them, and I was like, wow, like I felt like I was learning a lot, because I had no clue. Like I said earlier, I was just aware of that they had an affair. Like I didn't think it went like deeper than like just that. Is that a sex joke? I don't know. I will say though, like as events unraveled, like I was like, oh my god, and the show did a really good thing that where it didn't show any of like the sexual encounters. Like we didn't, like the most that we saw was like Bill Clinton and Monica like kiss, like not even make out, like it was just like a kiss, like a long kiss, like it was just like a long peck, but it wasn't like they were like eating each other's faces, which they probably did, because they explained everything that Monica did. And you know what? I will say, I will like that Monica Lewinsky was a producer because, you know, people can make these stories, and it even shows in the show where people will like make their own versions of like what was actually going on there, making jokes about it. Like, you know, they think there was like SNL skits or like late night skits, like talking all about the affair. And so I like that Monica herself was like a part of it, and she wanted to tell her story, and Ryan Murphy and Beanie, like they were all for it. And you know, I think that's also good because, you know, like in the end of the show, like it shows that she got a book deal, and you know, all of everything that happened was there. It was nice, you know, just to like to see the TV show and have it be as accurate as she possibly could have made it be. I mean, obviously there's probably like some things that were like sprinkled like to, you know, make it more drama-y. I don't know. I will say that it was really nice to like have her be a part of it. You know, like she wasn't like against it. Like she was for like the show happening and stuff. So I thought it was really good in that way. But other than that, I will say, and I hate to admit it, and I've made jokes about it numerous times on social media, but I did find Clive Owen as Bill Clinton hot. I'm sorry. I am a fan of Clive Owen just in general. And then when I saw him, I was like, oh, you know? So, unfortunately, that was there. But I mean, I will say he did a really good job as Bill Clinton. Like, I mean, he looked nothing like Bill Clinton. Like, he did not look like the guy at all. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's true. But his voice, he was really good in terms of his voice, because I watched the first 5 episodes by myself. And then when I was watching the 5th episode, which is like, I think it was the 5th episode or 6th, I don't know. It was like the most intense episode ever. Like that's when like the FBI gets a hold of Monica and they like have her hostage basically. So I was watching that episode, and then my sister joined me and she was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching Impeachment." And then she was like, "Okay, like let's watch it." So we spent a whole day, I think it was like Saturday. We spent a whole Saturday watching all the episodes, and she was invested. And like the whole time, because we couldn't skip previews because we were watching it through DVR, so we had to watch every preview. So during every preview, we were like Google everything that was going on, and so we were like learning about like everything that was happening, like the Drudge Report or like Watergate and all that stuff. We were like Googling everything. We were Googling Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton. We wanted to know everything. So we kept Googling things, and so we were watching interviews, and we watched an interview with Bill Clinton like recently where he talked about the affair. And like Clive Owen did a really good job in terms of his accent, because we were watching the interview and I was like, dude, he sounds just like him. So I will say he did a really good job as Bill Clinton in that way, and also to make him seem like he's such a nice guy. But then when all like the affair stuff started coming out, he was a big asshole. So I would say like you know, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, like I really thought like in the first couple episodes, I was like, dude, their relationship is so cute. And I kept like asking myself, I was like, did he like love her? Like I kept questioning it, because I was like, dude, I can see like the love. Like, you know, he was giving her gifts, and they even explained that they would just talk, you know, they just spend like time just talking. And so I was like, I think he did love her. But then, you know, when all that stuff comes down, he's like, no. And he would kept denying it. And he was like calling her a stalker. And I was like, dude, this guy's insane. Like, I literally thought he was insane. And so I thought that he was like really good in terms of that. Like, he's just a good actor. And he's like possibly the best choice for like Bill Clinton, because he's insane. And I just thought it was a really good performance. And also with Beanie, like she did an amazing job in Monica Lewinsky. Like I just mentioned earlier, like that episode where the FBI like takes her hostage for like a whole day. Like I felt literally everything that she felt. I was like full of anxiety. Like I was like, dude, this is like crazy. And like the fact that it actually happened is even like scarier and crazier. And I was like, why is this happening? And it was just it was very sad, you know? Like in the first couple episodes, it's more like we see like the Paula Jones case and everything, and then we see like everybody reacting to that, and then, you know, the affair with Bill and Monica, that unfolding. But then as you go, like everything starts getting tenser and tenser, and then it just gets like depressing. Like I just watched the last episode this morning, and when I finished the episode, I cried. Like I just cried, like full on tears, because I was like, nobody got a happy ending. Like nobody was happy, not even the Republicans. Like I guess they didn't like that Bush ended up as president after. Like they weren't even happy with what happened. Like literally Bill and Hillary lost. I mean, I guess Hillary joined the Senate after, so she kind of won. But like Bill became impeached. Monica got all this fame she did not want, and then like that's literally her whole life. There is the fly just passed by me. I'm so sorry. And so like Monica didn't even get her happy ending. Paula Jones had to end up like modeling for Penthouse magazine, and you know, she didn't get her happy ending. Like she's divorced now too. And so like nobody really won. And you know, like also with Linda Tripp, she wanted the book deal at first when the show started, and then in the end the lady was like, you're not getting that book deal. So like nobody won. And I just was like, I don't know. Like I wasn't expecting a happy ending. Like I think the last lines like of the show is Monica says, "I'm going to be okay." Like, and so I think that's what kind of messed me up. Like it was like, yeah, like in that moment everything is sucking, but eventually they'll be okay. And so I think that's what got me the most. Like, you know, you saw, like I spent like 2 months on this show. Like I watched it as each episode came out. And so after like spending 2 months with that show and like with these people and with their lives, I was like, I don't, that's when it all just came down to me, and I just started crying. Like I was like, nobody won. Like this is, it sucks. It really did like suck, like in that way that it was like, it was just losses on everybody's part. But yeah, those are my thoughts on American Crime Story Impeachment. If you guys saw it, let me know what you guys thought about it. I mean, obviously there are some people that were there when the events happened. I was not there when it happened. I was there for like when he got impeached, I think. But I mean, I was like a baby, so I didn't know. So technically I was, but I wasn't there when it happened. Okay, let me say this one thing. There wasn't enough Hillary. Like I felt like I was like, what's Hillary doing during all of this? But she wasn't like a main character until like the last 4 episodes or like 3 episodes. Like she just wasn't present for like the first 5 or 6 episodes, and so I was like, where is she? Like I was like, wouldn't she be around for this? But I guess it made more sense to have her towards the end of the show. Like nobody looked like their counterparts, which I thought was funny. I mean, not that they have to, but it's like they tried as much as they could with the actors they got. But like nobody really looked like each other, so like the whole time we were like, me and my sister were like, they don't look like them. But I mean, that didn't really mess up the image. Like, you know, like we still got the story, like we understand what's going on. So I thought that was like still like cool. That's basically it. So those are my thoughts on American Crime Story Impeachment. Like I said, if you guys saw it, let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not sure if it'll be on FX. I think it's still on demand. If you have cable, you can probably check it out. I will say Impeachment is probably my favorite show this year. Like I haven't watched much shows this year, but I will say it's one of my favorites that I watched because I was so invested in the story. And like I said, I cried. And I like when TV shows or movies make me cry because like it makes me like feel like I was like, wow, like it left something in me that I was like, oh wow, like you know, I can't explain it, but you know, it just like yeah, I can't explain it. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will hopefully see you all in whatever is next. So bye, have a great day.